not gay. Now, my thing is this. If you don't want people to know your business, then you just don't speak on it. Now, you're not going to make me look like a damn fool. I don't care who you are. I don't care how big of a star you are. You're not about to make me like
My family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all.
To demonstrate that Shannon Sharpe has been on the deal the entire time, Shannon's former stylist has released the mother of all videos. Furthermore, if you believe that Shannon's demise was unachievable, it's going to grow 10 times worse after the entire essay case. You've all read Shannon's essay lawsuit, which has dominated the press for the past few weeks, but his stylist is now saying that this is all. He's out there publishing some enigmatic receipts and making disparaging remarks that might really damage Shannon's reputation, but this is where it gets even more bizarre. It's a major part of Shannon's Hollywood humiliation ritual. He's asserting that Shannon attempted to silence him in order to prevent the public from learning about what allegedly transpired behind closed doors. What is actually happening here, then? Did Shannon Sharpe really attempt to muzzle his own male stylist? Let's delve deeper since there is yet more to this tale. Well, apparently Russell Hollywood Simpson is the stylist in question. The crazy thing is that when he initially began working with Shannon, everyone believed they were. Because Shannon and Russell used to be everywhere together, fans were wondering if that was Shannon's method of coming out as a member of the community. I know a lot of individuals who take their stylist is everywhere. The fact that Russell was once romantically engaged with former NFL safety Kerry Rodas didn't help either. Since the two were frequently spotted together, people began making connections between them online, and that wasn't acceptable to Shannon. The rumors that Shannon was on the DL and leading a secret life had been circulating for years. And to make matters worse, the conversation surrounding his sexual orientation quickly heated up. After all, he resembles Miss Nita. So I understand. However, recall that instance when Mike Abbs intervened and implied that Shannon was secretly attracted to the males. He stated that he didn't feel comfortable with Shannon's invitation to participate in Club Shay Shay. Due to the gossip regarding Shannon.
I ain't doing no so you can sit across from me and look at my balls. I'm sitting down, nigga. Thought he was going to attack Cat. That nigga. It's called Shay Shay.
Hiring someone like Russell simply made things worse for Shannon because of all the commotion, so he changed things up and fired him. Russell, but he did it in a really sloppy manner. Rather than simply leaving in silence, Shannon attempted to minimize Russell's contribution by acting as though he had never. Mostly due to his clothing in the first place. He then brought back Shelley Davis, his previous stylist, and gave her full credit for his new appearance. Referring to her as the true brains behind it, fans were then able to observe what was happening, and it was evident that Shannon was attempting to dispel those rumors.
But he kept repeating, knowing me, and I get it. My stylist, Hollywood, he was gay. Okay, that's his life. That's not mine. Hollywood no longer styles me. Why? Because I'm loyal to Shelley. She was hurt that after 20 plus years of being my stylist, that I had gone outside to hire someone else. And someone else was getting the credit when she was there at CBS. She was there when I started at Fox. She was there when I was going out and doing red carpet events. And I never had a problem. And for me, in my head, I thought I needed someone outside. Right. I didn't buy one thing new when Hollywood started styling me. Everything, all those LV jackets, all that stuff that I already had it. And a lot of the stuff she had already put together, but I took it apart. So when he put it back together, it was just what she had put together. And I told him, I said, Hollywood, I said, bro, I think you did an unbelievable job. I said, but I'm gonna go back to Shelley. Cause it's hurting her. Because she had been through anybody that knows me know I'm loyal.
Naturally, Russell was salty.
Naturally, Russell was upset about the entire situation, and Shannon believed that dismissing him would have stopped the rumors, but it really backfired. Quick, Russell appeared adamant on telling the world what was actually happening behind the scenes, rather than remaining silent. He didn't launch an offensive against He began by slowly lowering loader seats here and there, and there were even video footage that demonstrated that he was the only one who was truly putting Shannon's appearance on. In addition, Russell shared a video on Instagram with the message, "Let's be clear."
But dog, this dude right here be killing the game. I be watching. We killing the game, Hollywood. You straight.
However, here's the thing. Shannon had previously praised Russell in both public and private settings, but once they started spreading rumors, began to heat up, as if he wanted everyone to forget what had happened and maintain the impression that he was a heterosexual boy. Next, when Shannon performed one of the most outrageous antics to date, things took an even stranger turn. He unintentionally released an audio recording of an incident on September 11th, 2024. Private moment with his Instagram followers. Do any of you recall Michelle? This recording, however, was anything but subtle. It was undoubtedly a bit too mature for our ears, and neither Shannon nor the unidentified woman ever concealed the fact that anything was happening. Revealed their faces, and the live broadcast vanished as fast as it had shown, but naturally, some people managed to capture it and film it before it vanished. Swamped the comments section. However, Shannon wasn't going to remain silent about that. He immediately went online to repair the damage and blamed everyone. On cybercriminals, he said that they were responsible for all of this commotion, and Shannon posted, "Beware, my Instagram was hacked this morning. The team and I are putting in a lot of effort to resolve this." Shannon quickly removed that post, though, because let's be honest, for a millisecond, a real second at first, no one believed the hacker's entire justification, but eventually he came clean. During his nightcap episode, Shannon revealed the truth. He said that the entire Instagram Live incident was really a very messy mishap. He reportedly threw his phone on the bed without realizing that the live stream had begun just before the situation was about to get actual private rather than staying up to date. Behind closed doors the entire time. Ended up on the internet.
Obviously, I'm embarrassed. Someone that is extremely, extremely private, and to have one of your most intimate details, the audio heard for the entire world to hear. I'm embarrassed for a number of reasons. People count on Shannon, Shay Shay Media Club, Shay Shay Nightcap, ESPN. There are a lot of people that count on Shannon to be professional at all times, and I always try to be professional at all times. Even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level professional, although I'm in the privacy of my own home. And I'm very disappointed in myself, not for the act. I think there are millions, billions of people of consenting age that engage in activities, but to have your most intimate detail on the audio to be heard, I'm disappointed in myself. I let a lot of people down, my kids. I reached out to them, I called my sister, my friends. Obviously my friends reached out, but guys, this was not staged. Came in, I threw my phone on the bed, engaged in an activity. I did not know IG Live. I've never been on IG Live. I've never turned IG Live on. So I don't know how it works. And so all of a sudden my other phone is going off and people are calling me FaceTime that I've never talked to a day in my life on FaceTime. And it didn't, I'm like, why are y'all calling me FaceTime? And after a while, Jamie Fritz, who's been my longtime marketing guy, he finally got through to me and he says, Shannon, you on IG Live? I'm like, doing what? You know, I'm like, what am I on IG Live for? I ain't in no IG Live, but he says, they can hear. I'm like, so now, Ocho, you know, I say ask for patience. He said they can hear. And now I'm starting to get agitated.
Shannon, however, also took a moment to dispel the rumors that he arranged the entire event. He made it abundantly evident that life wasn't a well-planned action. It was merely a complete accident, but I'm not sure how many mishaps you have to have in order to click that many times. Turn on the live stream. However, people weren't buying it despite Shannon's efforts to clarify things because in reality, you can't go live by accident. Instagram additionally, many believed he was merely attempting to hide his identity. Rumors immediately began to circulate that perhaps this wasn't an accident at all. Others believed his leak was a means of advancing his career, while others even suspected he faked the entire incident to stop the continuous discussion about his sexual orientation. Of a more significant story that may have been published shortly. Furthermore, audio didn't exactly support the argument. Let's face it, people remarked on how strange his voice was. Sounded like he was attempting to put up a show. Oh, Michelle. It simply didn't seem right. And you know how quickly things like that are picked up on the internet. The way Shannon responded after that only increased the suspicion. The question of why it became such a major drama, if it was indeed an error, is the identity of Michelle. Her name appeared out of the blue, and Shannon's explanation left everything unclear. It was his helper, he said. Jordan's decision to discontinue the live stream raised suspicions because after you've been paid, what does he do? Jordan could cut the stream. Why couldn't he have begun it as well? It didn't add up, and many people began to believe Shannon wasn't being completely honest. The sloppy aspect was that Russell began posting mysterious messages on Instagram after making it apparent that he wasn't going to tolerate Shannon's easy deception of the public. Shannon's account of what happened left everyone wondering, as evidenced by his Instagram story in which he stated, "I enjoy my private life, but you may see a tiny piece because I'll tell you that you won't see much." And shutting up was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Russell, however, did not keep it too long. Ambiguous after a while, he took the initiative and addressed Shannon head-on, eschewing the tact he had been employing. He wrote, "It is completely impossible to accidentally go live when you have to open the app, swipe right, then swipe left twice, and then hit the button." It seemed like he was holding himself back while frantically attempting to tell the truth. Additionally, he allowed supporters to this post to tip their toes. The caption reads, "I'll wait till the right time. And I want to say so much, but I don't." Additionally, he stated, "I know how Shannon operates, and I wouldn't put it past him to plan something like this." However, to incorporate view of how crazy everything was, Terry Rose, an NFL star, would be exposed by Russell for being in the closet.
It all started when someone had leaked some pictures of he and I out. And he said to the tabloid that he was not gay. Now, my thing is this. If you don't want people to know your business, then you just don't speak on it. Now, you're not going to make me look like a damn fool. I don't care who you are. I don't care how big of a star you are. You're not about to make me look like a fool.
People tend to pay attention when Russell begins to indicate that someone is hiding something, which is why he raised eyebrows when he never really revealed Shannon's whole tale. Additionally, some fans believe it was because Shannon intervened and put an end to everything. Even after severing connections, Shannon allegedly closely monitored Russell out of concern that he may make a mistake. Apparently, once the public slander effort failed to work, he changed his. Word on the street is Hollywood was given a slot on a reality show by Bravo, but Shannon allegedly made sure that opportunity never materialized. Daylight Media Takeout claims that Tasha K is being informed by Hollywood's team that Shannon is making every effort to prevent Hollywood from showing up on a reality television program. Furthermore, you can be sure that Russell does not hesitate to make disparaging remarks in light of Shannon's recent lawsuit. He made a clue in a recent Instagram post that during his time working for Shannon, he had assisted Shannon in keeping his antics out of the press. He was similar to Olivia Pope or Shannon's fixer handler, or something similar. He wrote, "You never heard a word when I was around because I had everything so well organized. Yes, everyone. It's a flaming mess, but it gets worse since Russell's admissions have opened up a whole new world of problems. And it's insane. View his." A former bodyguard recently came forward to say that Shannon allegedly attended Diddy's parties and that it was at Diddy's freak-off parties that he met his current partner. Thus, it's unclear at this point whether the partner in issue is a current Jane Doe suing Shannon for $50 million or a different woman he began dating after he and the Jane Doe split up. The former bodyguard of Shannon Sharpe, Saka Zumba, says he has some video that purports to show his Shannon during one of Diddy's notorious gatherings. Yes, those gatherings that have generated years of gossip and jealous glances. However, what's attracting attention right now is that Saka didn't stop at the video. Additionally, he suggested that Shannon might be by worse, and he released a bombshell accusing Shannon of engaging in some dubious activities at those events, including apparently dating a girl who was not yet of legal age. Saka added petrol to that fire by tweeting, "FNDA at a Diddy, that Ninja Shannon met his 304 party at the age of 17. You'll understand when you watch Cat return. But let's take a moment. The slang term for an adult is 304. Furthermore, given that cats have already made news for implying dubious activities, the mention of Cat Williams raises the possibility that there is still more to discover. Inside the Hollywood community, that tweet vanished more quickly after it appeared on the timeline. Cancel culture, if you will. However, everyone is aware that as soon as something hits the online, it will always be out there. Because screenshots were already making the rounds and the tweet quickly became viral, the internet never forgets. Shannon had just said that he would be leaving ESPN until the NFL preseason, and the timing was just too opportune to overlook. Now, people are actually taking a sidelong glance at the entire issue, wondering what's actually happening behind the scenes, and not pretending to be spanking new. This is hardly the first instance in which the famed bodyguard has revealed the craziness that supposedly occurs at those notorious dodgy parties. However, Hollywood has been. 4 years, people have been muttering about this. These bodyguards watch everything, not just celebrities. Big Buddy CC, a former bodyguard who works security, because Jamie Foxx has even spoken up about the crazy things he saw at these gatherings. He claims to have seen an adult man running around in his pants at among Diddy's gatherings, thus Saka Zumba taking the lead in the tea about Shannon. Yes, it is messy, but it's not unexpected if you have been making payments. Focus.
His hospitalization was due to Diddy. There are stories of him getting beat up and getting put, but I know he was on a movie set, but something from an altercation or something from drug related that was given to him.
Diddy will pull up and get wild with you by himself. Like he's not soft. So that's the whole thing with him, like, you know.
He'll pull up and take something like it.
Bro, he'll pull up and, bro, he slapped Drake.
He did, and everyone looked over that.
This is the scenario that truly goes haywire because the most outrageous aspect of it all is that Shannon Sharpe supposedly had an affair with a girl, 17, at one of Diddy's notorious parties, not to mention that Shannon has been outspoken in his denial that he has ever walked in one of them. Scenes in an interview at the time, he actually admitted to Kais that he wasn't even well known enough to receive an invitation.
I found out I was Diddy's neighbor on the third day. I swear to you, I didn't even know Diddy was right there. I literally, somebody, my barber came in, he's like, you know you're right next to Diddy, right? Or like, and somebody dropped it in my Reddit of the view of the helicopter, and then right over it, it was Diddy's house. Like he got a slide in the backyard and all types of shit. Wow. It was crazy, yeah. It was just the most random.
So it might have been some parties at your house.
Oh my God. You ever was at a Diddy party?
No,
Never?
I ain't never been invited. I ain't that big. I mean, maybe if I was in the position that I'm in now, but back then, no. I don't get invited to no parties, bro. Plus, I'm a homebody.
Do you like partying or no? Nah. I feel
I just like to be to myself, man.
I feel that.
You know.
I feel that.
They see me, I'm in the airport, or I'm going point A to point. Normally, mainly when people see me, I'm in the airport, I'm at the gym.
Yeah.
That's the extent.
Or you getting freaky.
Huh? Hey, Kai,
give me some more.
It's too soon, Kai. I need a year. September 11, 2025.
Hey, you a freak ass. Hey, this nigga a freak. Hey, Shannon, no, I'm on you now, bro. Damn, you was going crazy, bro.
Oh, come on.
No, bro, I ain't gonna lie, you know how scary that is?
However, the entire story suddenly seems very dubious because of the leak from his own former bodyguard. Pulling receipts, making connections, and outright pointing out the inconsistencies. However, wait a minute. Fans are beginning to question whether this entire mess is real, so I thought I was done. But now there's another intriguing hypothesis circulating. One of Shannon's humiliation techniques, for those of you who are unaware, a humiliation ritual is purportedly a ceremony or event, either private or public, intended to diminish shame or shame someone, usually in front of a crowd or in a public setting. Celebrities typically get even more famous and start earning outrageous sums of money after humiliation rituals, and the time of it kind of adds up. As you can see, Shannon is in negotiations to negotiate a $0 million agreement for his Club Shay podcast, which is more than he earned in his whole NFL career. However, the following thing: we are aware that a woman sued him, alleging that Shannon had sexually assaulted her. She accused Shannon of dominating and manipulating her in her complaint, claiming that he stated and essayed her from. Please prohibit him from flagrantly disregarding her in October 2024 and January 2025. The lawsuit describes alleged physical assaults and threats, but Sharpe wouldn't accept the response of no, even as. She yelled and wept. She stated that they had a consensual relationship for 2 years after meeting at a gym in Los Angeles, but that he became hostile and threatened to analyze her when she tried to let her pals know where she was. Additionally, she asserted that he occasionally insisted on filming their private conversations without her consent, saying that they were for use that belt for yourself. She claimed that Sharpe had shared the recordings with friends several times. However, Shannon's issued a statement claiming that this lawsuit is an obvious and unscrupulous attempt to, in an attempt to obtain a substantial financial settlement, she sued me, Sharpe, for millions of dollars. Mr. Sharpe was shown a covertly filmed video of a consensual, intimate encounter by Mrs. Amiga. We think the video has been significantly altered and completely removed from context in order to misrepresent a consensual conduct as non-consensual. It went on. The evidence clearly shows. Image Miss Zuniga specifically requested that role-playing use adult language in fantasy scenarios be a part of this consensual adult relationship. Because of the editing and out-of-context content, the altered tape that Miss Zuniga surreptitiously recorded and played for Mr. Sharpe during their blackmail attempts to misrepresent earlier texts indicating that the sexual conduct was not consenting. Mr. Sharpe vehemently disputes any accusations of coercion or wrongdoing, particularly the egregious essay lie, and he will not submit. He stopped it as a heinous attempt at blackmail. He is willing to fiercely defend the truth in court against these untrue allegations. He anticipates being vindicated when the time comes. Procedure, and a ruling grounded in the law's facts. According to the girls, there is a lot of humiliation involved, but the $100 million payout at the end isn't. It was unexpected that Shannon would consent to it. However, I learned how you all feel about the situation. Thus, leave a comment below with your opinions, and then watch the following video.